Hello, my name is Johanna. I attend Linnaeus University, and I have chosen to present an article that's called Quantum of Choice, about learners' feedback, monitoring decisions, and self-regulated learning skills are related. It was written by Jivet and others, and was presented at the last LAC conference in 2021. The article highlights the importance of learner feedback in learning analytics dashboards that can help learners to reflect on their performance and goals and self-regulate their learning. The author stressed that a dashboard that doesn't facilitate a dialogue between students and, for example, teachers is just a passive display. Feedback is essential because it can help to raise this awareness and reflect and self-regulate your learning. The main challenges that the authors identify are, when it comes to dashboard design, are what data is meaningful here and how to visualize this data in an intuitive way. So different data also can be meaningful for different people, and therefore it's desirable to have a customizable dashboard where relevant information for specific people can be displayed. So self-regulated learning is a cognitive interlinked process with 3 phases, and this is a model here, is Zimmerman's model, which consists of first the forethought, which is like the task analysis, like goal setting and strategic planning, and also self-motivation, beliefs and self-efficacy, expected outcomes and learning goal orientation. And then you have the performance phase, which is self-control, like attention focusing, task strategies, self-instruction and self-observation. And then you have the self-reflection phase, where you self-evaluate and react on the choices that you have made. So feedback is vital to be able to self-regulate, and is the strongest proven influence on learning and achievement. So perhaps this is why self-regulated learning has been studied quite a lot in relation to learning analytics dashboards. There are different types of feedback though, and some feedback has been shown to be more effective than others. Useful feedback needs to make students reflect and act on based on their current performance and their goals. And there are 2 main types of goals, and these are learning goals, typically how to gain knowledge, and performance goals, which are related to complete a task that you are doing. The authors also mention human-centered learning analytics, which is becoming very popular, and it often involves then learners and stakeholders, in this case learners, in the design of the dashboards. The authors also mention human-centered indicator design framework, which is basically to get the right indicators. Isn't enough, but you also have to get the indicators right. They also mention in their related research that studies suggest that students want to have customizable dashboards. So the research questions for this paper then are: what indicators do learners first choose to monitor on their dashboards? And 2, is there a relationship between the way learners formulate their goals and the indicators that they choose to monitor? And do the way learners formulate their goals and their self-regulated learning skills influence the choice of the monitored indicators? So to find this out, the team set up and implement and deploy learning analytics dashboard, and the dashboard was deployed to 2 massive online open content courses using Coursera for 14 to 19 weeks. The courses both had similar learning design, and the dashboard lets students set their goals, and during the course it lets students change the goals. So the goals could be like, what do you want to achieve by the end of this course? So the students can actually type this in, what their goals are. It also lets students monitor indicators on a feedback widget. So they could choose indicators. Out of 12 indicators, they had to choose 3, at least 3, and a maximum of 6 indicators that they choose to monitor. 6 of the indicators were learning behavior indicators, and 6 of them were content progress indicators. So the aim of the dashboard then is to prompt self-evaluation, and there was also a self-regulation learning questionnaire embedded on the dashboard, where students could self-assess their self-regulation skills. So when students used the dashboard and interacted with it, then the logs were examined afterwards. Basically the student interaction with the dashboard helped collect the data, and this self-regulated learning questionnaire was embedded into the dashboard, so the data was available from there as well. So we've mentioned how they collected the data, and the data analysis then that was related to the first research question. It compared the indicator selection for the 2 courses. So they compared if there were any difference between the 2 courses, and I should have mentioned as well that there was 1 intermediate course and there was 1 beginner course. So they then used the chi-square or Mann-Whitney test to establish if there is a statistical difference between how the 2 courses choose their indicators. The qualitative data generated by the questionnaires were coded, and it was compared between the courses using chi-squared test as well. And the authors also used logistic regression to predict probability of an indicator being selected. So the goal formulation coding from the questionnaire, it was based on Bloom's taxonomy, and the presence of a learning component in, or a time frame in the student's description when they had types. So then you so the results they got. So for the indicator selection related to research question 1, the most frequently chosen indicators are completed course activities and graded assignments. And the number of indicators that learners choose differs significantly between the courses here. So the more learners from the intermediate course choose a high number of indicators than those from the beginner level. And research question 2 was related to indicator selection and learner goals. And it's shown that the most common combination of indicators shows that most learners focus on content progress indicators, completed course activities and graded assignments. These were similar for both courses. There was no significant difference there. And the research question 3, learners self-report high metacognitive skills and lower time management and help-seeking skills in both of the courses. The majority from both courses formulate goals that include a learning component in their written goals. They do not focus so much on time frames or performance components. And the only single predictor for learners' preferences seem to be the courses. The authors couldn't establish any other predictor for how learners choose their indicators. or preferences. So this article was super interesting because it engages learners to try and understand how to use different options on the dashboards, and also like how do you make sense of this. And the authors present 2 challenges, and I would like to expand on this to include a third challenge, which is like what type of data that learners find acceptable to use in different cases on a learning dashboard supporting self-regulated learning. And I have a great quote from the conclusions or discussion, I can't remember, which is: designing impactful learning analytics dashboards needs to address learner skill levels and also support novice learners in recognizing the benefit of monitoring their learning behavior and use of learning strategies. So customizable dashboards seem to be important. Right, that's all that I had about this article. I recommend it, it's really good. So thank you very much for listening.